Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Jesse here. It's such a blessing to know that so many of you are out there enjoying our YouTube videos. Thank you for doing that. Now, you don't want to miss anything, so like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. Why? So you will know every time we post new content. That's like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Pretty simple, isn't it? Now, watch this.
Hello and welcome to Glorious Living. I'm Cathy Duplantis right here in Studio C, and I'm so excited about today's program because we're going to celebrate mothers today. And I'm so glad because my daughter Jodi is here with me. Jodi. And Chrissy back on the program.
I'm so excited to be with you both. Jodi, welcome to Studio C.
Thank you. Yes, it's your first time. I know you're usually behind the scenes. You do a whole lot of the ministry. Yeah. And I know a lot of people have been watching different things we do. We talk a lot about Jodi. You hear her mention. If you've watched Glorious our conference just recently, she was on the feature with one of the other ladies there with me on the Girl Talk panel. So we had a good time.
People loved it. They were just so empowered. And so I know that talking about mothers today, since I'm a new mama, I can't wait to learn from you both. It's going to be good.
And so we already know that the baby is a girl.
Yes.
So Sophia, so we have really full girls on the set.
I love it. She's excited. She's leaping in the womb like John the Baptist. She was doing some moving. So she's ready to chat about Jesus today. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and it's so important that we talk about mothers today because, you know, you're my daughter, I'm your mother, and so I think it's wonderful to celebrate that great moment, so many things. But I think Chrissy has a testimony that I want us to. We love to read stories that you write in. It's so important that we hear from you. We love seeing your comments. We love hearing your stories, and we always like to take the time to share one of your stories on our programs each week.
Yes, I love it.
What do you have today?
It's so great. It's from Fiona from Instagram. She says, this program is so wonderful and powerful. I've just finished reading Cathy's book, You Were Designed for Glorious Living, and I'm now reading Jesse's book, The Hidden Help. Such amazing books to learn from. Thank you for sharing, teaching, praying, and reaching the whole world. God bless you all abundantly. Love always, from Perth, Australia.
Wow.
All the way down under. And she's reading JDM books.
I love that.
That's great.
I love that. You know, we love hearing your stories. I hope if you have a story to share, please send that on because we want to be able to read what God's doing in your life. But especially this week, we're so excited about, and in fact, all this month, we've been talking about mothers. And so Jodi has so many great stories to tell. You know, I want you to get to know Jodi a little bit, and she has.
Hey, look, you're a good person.
I've been begging her to be on the program. This is her very first time, so you that are watching, you're in for a treat. Yes. She is a true joy. Aww. And so I want her to just tell her story. So Jodi, just tell them how many children you have, how old is your child, and what does it mean to be, have you always wanted to be a mom?
I have one child. She came late to me in life. I never wanted children. I never even thought about it. It was just something I never really even considered. I liked animals. I don't remember.
Still love animals.
I still love them. I consider that a practice for motherhood.
Snow White.
She's 15. Yeah, that was my nickname when I was a kid. But she's 15 now, and she came at 37. And she's, you know, once I took the plunge, once I got over a lot of things, it was like a biological clock that ticked.
Yes.
And I tell you, it's the best thing I ever did.
You know, I remember.
If I could go back, I'd have 12. You know, I mean, it's like that kind of good. It's great. And it's as fun as you want to make it. It's as good as you want to make it. That's how I consider motherhood.
I remember having that conversation with you when you said you didn't want any, and you were getting older in life, in your 30s, and at some point I remember talking to you, said, Jodi, I really don't want you to miss motherhood. Really think about this, because you were, and I hope that was a turning
even remember
point.
It.
I will never forget.
Everybody was constantly telling me, when are you going to give Jesse a grandbaby?
Oh, man.
When are you going to do?
I can relate.
I'm like, you know what? It's not,
we
you know, the Ming Dynasty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We would get pictures, frames from people that says my grandchild and was empty. And so
we put the grandcats.
No. Grandcats.
The grandcats.
That's great. I love it because I can relate to that. I know your office is right next door to mine. You come. I'm so happy that's the case because you help me all the time. Go, hey, Mama, how you doing?
Yeah.
And we've had many discussions
about that.
Because I think
being pregnant is like a beautiful moment in your life.
It is.
And people are hard on you sometimes for all these little things, and there's a lot of expectation.
Yeah.
But like you get that one moment, right? And even if you had 12 kids, there's only 12 moments in your whole life that you got.
Right.
And how precious is it that God gave you that to carry that life?
That's beautiful. Because I kind of had the same feelings going into
you're
motherhood.
later.
How old are you, Chrissy?
I'm 32, and this is my first, and who knows? I know it won't be 12. 12. It may be one more, but not 12.
I'm an only child. It's
yeah,
fine.
it's beautiful.
I'm an only child. I have an only child.
And
It's
watching
okay.
watching you work alongside with your mother,
Yeah.
and also having Meredith, it's just a beautiful inspiration to watch a godly family really embrace family like you both do. I love it so much. Even you interacting with Boss, you know, with your dad, it's
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of people don't really realize that how much you and your dad work together so much. You know,
Yes.
I'm kind of in between, but y'all work together on his books and
I work
partner
on his
letters.
books. I work on the books all the time, and I love it. I've learned so much in doing it from him, and then of course I have that background, so it's easy for me to do.
Yeah.
But I love having those conversations with him, where we just kind of go one, da, 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 and I say, well, what does this mean? I don't understand what you're even saying. You know, how does that apply to? Because I tend to want to be practical there, and he gives me the big picture.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I go away and I think, I still don't understand. And then I pray, and God gives him. I go, oh. Okay, and I love that part of my dad.
Yeah.
You know, that there's a lot of depth and even certain things that you can kind of skim over. But if you pay attention, you know, I just love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That part of my job is great. Yeah.
And a lot of people say you're like Jesse with a wig. I've heard that term.
Jesse with a
many
skirt.
times. A skirt. Yeah.
I never heard the wig one,
Not the
but
wig, it's
Jesse
the
in a
skirt, right?
skirt.
It's the skirt.
I hope I don't need a wig one day.
And we hope he never wears a skirt.
I think
right.
that, you know,
That's
I
right.
definitely am different than my dad, but, you know, the Duplantis gene runs deep.
That's beautiful.
No doubt, no doubt.
I love it so much.
I
Yeah.
love that. You know, and it's so wonderful. And I love the fact that you enjoy being a mom.
I
remember
love
when
being
you
a mom.
embraced that. How did being a daughter and seeing what other mothers have done influence your life and your motherhood? How have I influenced you in any way?
Yeah.
Of course.
Let's talk about
Yeah,
me.
That's why I had a baby so late. I thought I couldn't like live up to it. It's so good.
No.
It's a joke. But wow. So when I was, I just don't remember having anything I could pick apart as wrong. I remember seeing so much strength. And I think that I was there on those early years, right? So seeing not my mom, you were the only working mother I knew. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know
But so I had my church friends and my school friends, right?
Yeah.
The neighborhood friends. And out of all my neighborhood friends, because that's where you spend the most time, there was not one that was a working mom. So we're talking about the 70s.
Wow. I
Right?
didn't know
And so
that.
I got to see a lot of moms out there, but mine was busy. You know, mom had a
Yes.
business in the house, and then she was working for the ministry too.
Yeah.
And there was so much always going on.
The first business was a little
strength.
childcare, daycare business where I had like 8 kids.
The kids,
The
yeah.
kids. So Jodi was an only child, but at this point in her life, I think she was like 5 or 6 when I started that.
Mm-hmm.
And she all of a sudden had 8 kids in the house. And I thought
There
it would
was
be
a
good for her to
time.
have like little brothers and sisters.
Little friends.
But I didn't feel that way. No.
The kids
Because they were like 900 square feet. There's a little house.
tiny room.
And they were everywhere, and then she would contain them here, and it just looked like a lot.
was
You know,
a
it was
lot.
like I saw Sesame
I
Street
bet.
twice a day, every day. Electric company right after Mr. Rogers.
We had a schedule.
Our food was on a little plate, you know,
little
3
divider
things.
plate.
Oh, yeah, I love
We had our
those.
time outside, 20 minutes outside.
Everything was organized.
It was so
It
organized.
had to be.
Scheduled,
And then how
yeah.
many babies did I train? Oh, goodness gracious. to
Yeah, she
use
was
the
always
toilets.
potty training them. Sometimes one would toddle in my room, and I'd be like, calling one the kids. They were always the kids to me. I don't care if it was
kids.
1 or 20, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, Mom, the kids are in my room.
Get out.
The little mats were laid out all over because there was always nap time. You know, nap time. Some of them
So
were
I
in your room.
learned strength. I got to see what it meant to organize. It was a lot. You know, when I looked back, also you didn't holler at me. I never was like screamed at. I knew you loved me and had my best interest at heart. You know, and I thought that was wonderful. You know, but a lot sometimes then I wouldn't understand things, like I'd get mad at you, you know, because you would have to be the disciplinarian because Dad was gone.
Yeah, he often tells people that he's never told you no.
Because he wasn't around to do it.
He was. I thought he was a noodle. No, he'd come around once a
No,
week.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but he don't want to. He didn't want to do it.
Yeah, but
And
I was the
grateful,
one.
man.
He had 2 answers: yes, and ask your mother.
That
so when
sounds
he asked
familiar.
me,
Yeah,
I'm the
that's
one who had
right.
to say no. And then he even tells people that he says, "Jodi, I'd let you have it, but you know your mama won't let you."
Your mama, you
So he made me the bad guy.
Oh, that was
got
me
on
and
his
my dad
case.
too. Yeah, fun.
Really?
He used to come on with the fun police. Like, don't talk to the fun police. Let's go do this. I
That's
can relate to
funny.
that. But she was always so hardworking, and even
Yeah.
though she didn't have it, she was a stay-at-home mom. I still got to see how she ran the household
Right.
and how she protected us. And so
Right.
it's awesome how there's so many qualities that you can take now into your walk with
And it's
Meredith.
sometimes different too when, you know, my mother's personality is completely different,
Yeah.
right? I remember in my 20s, I went through that whole personality profile phase. I was just giving this test to everybody I knew.
Yeah.
So I want to know, who are these people?
Yeah.
You know?
What type are they?
And
Yeah.
when I read, I was like, oh, oh, well, that's true. You know, because I was very plan B, you know, like type B.
Type
you know, and
B.
Mom was real type A. I'm like, yeah, Lord, why would you want to have kids? Look at all of this stuff you got to do. It's exhausting. It's like having an invalid, wiping the booty, wiping the nose.
I can relate that
You know,
too.
it's like, oh, you know, on a break. Yeah. But I learned a lot after. Like once I had a child too, it was like, oh, how much it just comes on you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's not something that you really set out to always do. It's in the daily that you learn how to be a mother,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It really is. And anyway, and also other friends and other people in my life, I saw what not to do. When
That's
I saw
right.
some other mothers, I thought, oh God, I don't want to be like that. Because you know, I was so uncomfortable in their house.
Oh,
right?
wow.
So I really value atmosphere. You know, the atmosphere of your home, how you feel inside your home. That you
so
start
good.
that. That's your job as a mom, right?
That's right.
You set
That's
the
good.
house, right?
That's so true.
I used to say, this is my little nest, right? When some other mothers, you'd go in there, you didn't want to be there. You could tell they didn't want you in there either.
Yes, that's right.
You know what I mean?
There's no
or there was
welcoming.
ugliness or whatever. And I didn't want that either. And then I had friends too that were
Yeah.
strong mothers later.
I remember you told me about one of your friends who, and it was so impressive. I mean, because I've only had the one, but she had like 4 boys, I think. And y'all,
Oh,
and
my
you were
friend
telling the
Stacey?
story when you went to Disney World with Stacy. I think it was
July,
Stacey.
3
In
boys.
July.
Oh, we
Tell
talked
them
about that.
that.
That
Oh,
was
she
a
would love
super
that.
mom.
She's wonderful. You know, I learned a lot from Stacy because I was older, and watching her, she mothered it a whole different way. Stacy didn't sweat the details of like the house and stuff like that as much as she did your character.
Yeah.
I want you to be honorable. I want you to tell the truth. You know, and she had 3 boys that was so opposite each other. It was interesting to watch her deal with each of these boys.
Yeah.
You know, the good one, you know, the dreamy one, the one who, and then the wild one, you know. And she would tell me all the stories, and I don't know, I looked up to her a lot.
Remember
In
you
fact,
told me
yeah.
she had all those accessories like the bottle for water.
Oh.
She, I mean,
Oh,
all
at
that
Disney?
stuff. At Disney.
Yeah, How to
uh-huh.
Survive Disney. I think she
How
wrote a
to
book.
Survive Disney.
You know,
I need
you
to read
give your
that
kid a little
one.
fan, you know, so because they can have something to do instead of beat their
In
brother.
July.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
Tired.
brave. Yes.
Yeah, it was something
And I
else.
love Disney, but I don't know about July.
I don't like Disney. It's exhausting. I mean, I go, but my Disney days are over at 15.
That's so good. That's right.
Yeah, we brought Meredith to Disney, my granddaughter,
Oh, precious memories.
when she was 6.
Precious.
It was beautiful. You didn't want to bring her when she was too early because you'd seen a lot of that. You'd been to Disney many times,
Yep,
but
I
as
learned.
a granddaughter,
I learned
it was
from my
great
friend.
being there with her.
Absolutely. It's memories that you know, you carry forever. It's the time you're spending with. It doesn't matter where you really are. But where you are, you know, when you get to see their eyes light up
Yes.
and see something that they've always wanted to see or see them get excited, that makes your heart happy.
Yeah.
You know, you pay any money in the world, get
Oh,
that,
I
you know,
know.
princess to the table, you know.
Come on. You know I'm ready for that too,
Yeah,
having this baby
yeah.
girl.
I know,
Everything's
so
princess and
sweet.
but it's great because you can see all of that through their eyes at every stage of life. And I know
The time
that,
is so short. You don't
Yes.
even realize it until they get a little bit older. How
Yes.
wonderful. You know, I used to say I got a new kid every 6 months. Because
Beautiful.
when they're little, because they do and they change, and then you're watching them change and you're changing with them.
That's
Right.
beautiful.
Right? And it's wonderful. And every stage is good. I hate
It
even
is.
now where people say, oh, teenagers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, absolutely not. It's wonderful,
Yeah.
right? I'm
Oh, I
learning
love
too.
that.
They're supposed to pull away a little bit. They're supposed to get independent. How else are they going to do it? You know what I mean? Trying to see through some of that stuff that's hormonal.
Yeah, because you don't want to dread it. I mean, that's what with some of my friends who have older children, they're like, oh, it's the dreaded middle school years or the dreaded. It's like, why would I want to set it up for failure like that by saying dreaded? No, I
Or
want to
that they
speak
call
life over
the
it.
terrible twos and all that.
Yes.
I didn't
But-
have the terrible
No,
twos.
you didn't. I remember the first time that I watched Meredith at your house, and
Oh, and she
so I
was a
went
little
there that
baby.
day. It was so sweet because
sweet girl.
Jodi first she gives me these instructions. She says, "No, I'm gonna be gone just for like 2 hours, but well, first we do this," and then she starts telling me all the different little activities. She lets her play in this, like you talking about how I had the schedule
That's
with the children.
how I started,
You did it.
and I let it go.
Yeah,
but I
she-
started because thinking that's what you're supposed to do.
I
It's
know, but she
exhausting.
did it. She says, and then she goes down this slide, and then I bring her here, and then she starts telling me. I said, "Look, Jodi, I can't compete with the Jodi show." The
Jodi show.
It was like she was like the most animated
Yes.
mother, and so joyful, like she is. You can see.
Yeah.
But this is what Meredith had. What a treat!
That is beautiful. I love
Thank
that.
you.
That's true. And you took the best of both, you know, like your mom was, you were scheduled, you were organized, you had structure.
In the beginning, you must have structure
have
with a
to,
child.
yes.
Even older, you need it too, but especially in the beginning, just to get through all the things you have to get
That's
through.
right.
But it doesn't mean it doesn't can't be fun.
That's right.
Anything can be fun.
That is so Snow White. Like, let's tidy up and let's sing too.
That's right. It's like you can get them with
are.
a little thing of, like bleach or in a bottle and say, we need to clean this floor. You catch the spot.
Yeah, make it a game.
It can be anything. Anything can be a game.
Yeah,
think
we
that's
learned
great.
that from my mother. She did a lot of that.
Yeah,
My
she
mom was a
did.
great mom. They called, in
Yeah,
fact, I
she was
called my
wonderful.
mother. Her name is Irene, but the kids got that kind of mixed up. They call her Mama Ice Cream.
Oh, that's a great name.
Isn't that a great name?
She's wonderful.
She is a wonderful
She's
mom,
wonderful.
grandmother, great-grandmother.
A lot of wisdom.
Great, lot of wisdom. We learned a lot from her over the years.
I've learned so many things from her that were like instrumental really in my life, even some of the hard times. I found that she could tell me things and we thought the same so I could accept it, or you know what I mean, that kind of thing.
That.
Yeah.
Just reminds me about generations of women, how it's so important to connect with women of all ages. The younger,
right.
you're the younger mom,
Yeah.
but my mom is, I remember the phrase she says, it's always good to have a baby in the house. She just loved babies, and she just oozes with love. Now, she wasn't treated well as a child.
No, she was abused and psychologically abused.
Severely, psychologically and physically abused.
And physically abused.
But she and many people, they keep going down that same pathway, and
They
that's
fall
what they
into
give
it.
out
I don't even
bitterness.
think that they want to. They just almost barrel into it because it's wounds coming out and making another wounded person along the way.
But
they're-
she made a decision
Yeah,
to
she
not
did.
live that way, not to raise her children that way. And she had 6 children, and every one of us felt so loved and so. I don't remember any whippings at all. I mean, we had one. I remember she put us across the bed, and she was whipping us all. We must have did something really bad because it would never happen. But we just giggling because we didn't feel a thing, you know. But she just wanted. She knew she needed to discipline us.
Well, she said,
we would
I
go
remember
to
her
the,
saying, though, I don't want to do that to my children because it was done to me. I want to, even when I was pregnant, I remember her telling me, don't always say no, 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 no. Stop, 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 stop. Like, you don't have to say it like that. You can guide them. You know what I mean? Like, so
That's
I found when
right.
they were toddlers or something, you'll see that. A toddler wants to touch everything, put everything in its mouth. You know what I mean? That's just part of their development. It's normal. They want to take that banana, drop it off the side of the, little high chair to see. They just learn gravity.
that's how you learn. Your brain
They
learns.
just learn
That's
gravity.
mental mapping.
They're
part of
learning like that, but you don't have to, like it's just irritating.
Frustrating.
We all did it. We all dropped stuff. We all had,
It's life.
dog hair in our mouth. We survived.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, there's all kind of things like that. But really, you're just moving them along.
Yeah.
Like if you don't want stuff on the coffee table broken, don't put it on there. Don't put your best, most valuable thing right when you got a toddler. You put
During
that a little
that
bit high. These are
season,
practical
during
things.
that stage of
right.
their
Or
life.
you just move them along. Or like my mom, you just train them until they know.
Yes, yes.
That's what
You
I
make
got.
sure. Come on now.
Go to coaster.
Get
Where's
it
your
done.
coaster?
I remember one time I felt so bad for years. I still feel bad thinking about it because Jodi was in the living room. We were in our house in Houma, and she was doing a craft on the chair, this nice
Art.
chair that I had, and she was doing a little art craft. And from a glance, when I looked at it, I thought she was painting. I said, I'm thinking, oh, what is she thinking about? She knows I wouldn't want her to do that.
I was sitting on the floor. I had like a poster board. I had poked out the holes with a hole puncher of all the construction paper I had so that I had a pile of these colors, and I was doing like a mosaic with construction
with
paper.
just a little bit of glue.
Baby
so
genius.
fun.
She was tapping the glue with that little thing, and one at a time.
I had a eraser, a pencil.
yeah.
I would tap in the eraser and the glue, and then I would pick it up, and it turned
creative.
into
So it wasn't
I was
really a
trying.
messy thing, but in my mind, I thought she was painting. I said, what is she doing? Painting on, and then I said this. I said, you
stupid girl. And it was so
I did.
funny. I was like,
and I never
it
called
was
her.
funny. It
I
wasn't
never
even-
called her stupid, and we
Never.
just
Ever.
stared at each other. And I never raised my voice. And we just stared at each other and laughed. And I realized, oh,
it was
she's
her
not
tone of
painting.
voice.
Then I apologized. Oh, Jodi, I'm so sorry. So,
And I felt so powerful. That's right.
That is awesome.
Apologize.
we don't always get it right, but we still
No.
communicated, you know. And I made it a point to not call her names like that, and I was always trying to lift her up and build. But I messed up then, but she's so forgiving. In fact,
I
it's her
love
favorite
it.
story.
No, I mean,
One of
look,
them.
nobody's perfect, even
That's
you.
right.
I know
Isn't that
that.
amazing?
I love
Even
this.
nobody is perfect.
That's
Everything
right.
you do is just from the heart, and when you mess up, I mean, like, all falls short of the glory of God. Yeah, all sin falls short of the same thing in
Yes.
life. Same thing as a mother. You're never going to be perfect. You can try, you can aim, that's your goal. But when you mess up, you own it.
I think
And
that's
once you do that, you
awesome.
can kind of move forward, right?
but-
Otherwise, you hold on to it. You ever have people hold on to that with ego?
Yes. Yes.
They don't want to be wrong. They want to make sure they're. Well, why are you a mother in the first place? What, to lord over somebody? Go start a business.
That's
you know what I mean.
so good.
Go do whatever. You're there to guide that's what God gave you that person for.
Yes,
That's right.
and
You
love
know,
it,
to
because
love.
God
Yeah.
wants us to be successful. He wants us
Absolutely.
to
He's gonna
if
correct and guide.
If He gives us a child,
Yeah.
He entrusts us, it's already done. We're equipped with it. I just find that so many people are ready to give their advice of what a successful mother
Yeah, we
is.
talked about all that.
And then I'm like, well, I don't know if I could do that. But it's really not their standards for success. It's being a mother. God gave you that gift. He's going to move every step along the way with you, and you will be successful.
That's
I
right.
think
Well, so
success
many
is
tell
motive.
you that,
Yeah.
and they've never had a kid in their life. So
Exactly.
you just like talk to the hand.
Excuse
I don't-
me?
Or you know
Call
what?
wait.
They didn't have your kid.
Yeah.
Every
There's
kid's
every
different.
person is different. So because every person is different, you know, it takes more. Well, I saw that with my friend, you know, who had 3.
Yes.
She's like, you know, you want to treat them all the same, but really for their growth you can't, because what one needs the other doesn't really need as much. They need something different.
Unique, yes.
Right? And so I think, you know, there's always somebody to give you advice. But the Lord tells you, if you have your right, that's the success model, is that my heart must be right. My motive
God,
must be
that's
right.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
I would look at like Jesus and how you look at the you know, Pharisees, and they were always trying to letter of the law it. Rules, 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 letter of the law. And he was always talking about the heart of the matter. You know what I mean? Oh, you healed on the Sabbath. Terrible person, you know? He's like, are
Exactly.
you kidding me? You know, would you, if you had an animal and it fell in a hole, wouldn't you pick it up on that day? Absolutely you would, because you saw the need like that. So I think
Beautiful.
it's kind of like that kind of a deal.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, and stop measuring and comparing yourself to
It's
these
having- right.
mothers that
You
look on the
can't.
outside so perfect, but you know, we all
Maybe
have.
they're getting some things right, some things wrong. I think being a woman and sharing those things are good, because we
Yes.
learn from each other.
Right.
You know, you learn from somebody else's mistakes. Maybe you don't go that way, but maybe you're never even in that situation that you need that advice. Who knows? You know, you give what you have, they give what they have, we share. That's how we learn. But it's no indicator of what you should do with your child in any given
Yes.
moment.
Yes.
Your heart will tell you, because you have the Holy Spirit.
Right.
Praise
Well,
God.
the
I love
Bible
that.
tells us to train up a child and the way they should go, and
When
then
he's
they
old, they won't
won't.
depart.
When they're old, they won't depart from it. So there's a training time. The Bible tells us in the book of Deuteronomy, while you're walking down the street, is how you do it. It's while you do your everyday activities.
That's how I do, yeah.
And then you explain them
I
and
try.
train things. I was telling someone a story recently when we were at, I think it was a Wednesday night service, how Jodi, Meredith and I were in a car going, and you said, "Hey, Mama, Meredith needs some what's the scrub stuff. She likes all that scrub stuff.
The body wash.
The body
She is
wash.
obsessed
Yes.
with body scrubs, you know, bath gels, sprays,
Gotta
anything
smell
that comes
good.
from that Bath and Body Works.
Yeah.
I'm like, those people, man, they give you like, if you buy 3, get 8 free. You know, I'm like,
Little
So
hand
we
sanitizer.
filled
there's
up.
a sale.
So she says, "Mama, I don't have time to go
Yeah.
bring Meredith." So Meredith and I were going, and I was going. We had a fun time. She got like
Yeah.
two baskets full of good stuff to last her for a while. But I remember we were driving there in the car. You may not know this, but we're driving along the way. I know she's about to learn how to drive. So you do this every time y'all go to school. I think you drive her to school. You're telling her stuff about driving and what's the importance about driving, and she's
All
learning
of our
things.
big talks are in the car on the commute, because we have commuted since she
Yeah.
was little.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
love it.
time you have nowhere else to be.
Yeah.
It is
Quality-
a
it's
critical
quality
time,
time.
Yeah, I
man.
was telling her that, you know, we got to the intersection and it was sort of rainy and there were cars at different places on the intersection. And I was telling her, "Now, Meredith, I know you're going to start driving. And so right now I have a yellow light, and if it was sunny and no cars were around, I would speed through and go. But because it's raining and kind of drizzly and there's cars around,
This is how you
I
taught me.
stop.
This is how you talk
So
to
she
me.
was listening, and this is along the way. You teach children. You don't, you have to just train them in life. And this is how I taught you? Really?
This is how you taught me. You know, you were always telling me, like, what people were doing wrong.
Wow. That's
We
my
did
mom
all learn
too.
some stuff.
That's my
driving,
mama
and she'd
too.
say,
Oh.
"You see that, Mom? Look at that baby on the outside.
Okay.
All right, they're
Uh-huh.
walking. The baby's supposed to be on the inside. You know, like basically, you put yourself
I was-
here.
yeah.
That you're always in protection of each other. It's a lot of like protection,
Oh,
safety.
I still see that. I said, "Can't believe that person's in the middle of the
Yeah.
street."
Yes.
You had the kid in the parking lot, and the kid's on the dangerous
Yep.
side.
Your kids learn from not just what you say, but what you do. But they learn a lot from what you say. They learn your
Beautiful.
perspective. You know what I mean? They really do. And I think if you're trying to teach faith or put a foundation in any way, you're giving them your perspective on what I call our faith. Like I never just talk about, I just use the word our a lot. Our family's faith. Our, because I want her to feel a part of something. I want her to feel like this is her, this is who we are. Now,
we go to church.
Yeah, she'll get to the stage. She can choose whatever she wants to do. I have no control over that. God gave her free will. But until she leaves my house, as long as that she's mine and as long as that she comes to me for help, then I'm gonna give her what I have.
Yeah.
And I give it to her, and I think that's a real important thing that I've had with Meredith, is making sure she understands the why I believe anything I believe.
Yeah.
I don't want a bunch of rules. Nobody follows rules for the sake of rules once they get the chance to not follow them, right? We follow things because we think that's the best way. And so my goal for her is that, you know what I mean? So on the highway and byway, I'm teaching her some of the practical things, but all that comes out of that foundation of, I just want the best life for you, baby. I don't want you to do some of the stuff I did.
I love that.
I messed up there, so I don't want you to mess up. I want to give you some tools. She's like, I'm not gonna do that.
It's so good.
Because she's her own personality, she's her own thing, you know?
And it's all about communication, which
It's
I
openness.
really love. I
Openness.
see that quality in my own mom because she never said, no, you're not doing that, and I said so. There was always a sit-down moment. Let me explain to you why I don't think this is a good idea. And as I grew up, I was a little, I can't believe she's doing that, or this is overbearing. But now, becoming a mother, I look back and how she explained everything, and I'm like, that was wisdom in its purest form, sitting down with me and just having a chat. I mean, just think about today's day and age where moms are just so willing to go throw their child off somewhere and so they can explain it to them. I don't have time for that. I think that's so sad.
Well, yeah, faith's taught in the home.
Yeah.
So you can't expect the church to raise your child any more than you can expect like the school to raise your child. They are bringing other things too, and thank God. I'm so thankful that they all bring something to the table. But that starts at home, and it starts in your conversation. It starts in that. And it starts showing that when you go wrong, and because they see in your life too, and there's nothing more humbling than is when your kid sees you do something you told them not to do.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, it's human nature. You know, oh man. So you got to fall on the mercy seat.
You know, I think some of the funniest things is like when you policeman stopped you. And remember Meredith? Meredith is
the police always stop because
is the common sense, follow the
rational.
rules, so sweet. What does she tell that story?
Which one?
Well, you know, Mama, you know you're gonna, you know.
I can't wait for this because you know what? I'm trying to get out the house with her. I'm not rushing and irritated in any other respect as much as I am.
Just to be on time.
On the road to be at school on time. And there's inevitably somebody, you know, I always say they're in their work cars and they go in so slow. I'm like, you're already at your job. You at your job. I'm trying to get my kid to school. I'm trying to get to my work.
Let's get the show on the road.
It's inevitable. You pass them, you're speeding up to pass them, and there's the lights. You know, like that. So Meredith now, because of what I did that day, you know, I burst into tears after. You know, they always let me off. She's like, they always let you off. And I say, it's because I'm honest.
Yeah.
It's because I'm honest and I don't lie. I don't say, well, I really wasn't mean. I don't lie. And I say, I'm so sorry. I know I was speeding, and this is why. I'm running late. My kid is. I just start pouring it out because I'm overwhelmed. You know, they have to hear the rant, and they let me go. But when I got in the car, you know, I just cried. She's like, "Why are you crying?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't want to do wrong. I just need to get out the house."
and didn't that when the policeman from the microphone from his car said, "Slow down, Jodi."
Oh yeah, they talked to me on the thing. Slow down, Jodi. I was like my daddy or something.
And so that's what Meredith will say many times while they're in the car. Slow down.
Or she says, Mom, don't go fast because you know what you're going to do.
Oh my gosh.
She gets
That is so good.
She's a real, like a justice warrior in some ways, you know, with the right, wrong, don't do this, this is right, this is not right. Part of that is her personality.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, more than anything. It really is. And that's a good thing too, like seeing that personality and fostering it and realizing the kid God gave you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Watching the kid God gave you blossom and you know, trying to help them out.
Well, we're having so much fun talking, and I know you have so much more, so we're going to do a part 2 if that's okay with you. So we're going to just give y'all, let's just say, so thank you so much for watching us today, but we're going to come back with Jodi and Chrissy, and we're going to do a part 2 of this right here in the same set because there's so much more available to you. We just want to make sure that you know that we love you so much, and this is why we do these programs, and if you're a mom, we want you to know that we're praying for you and trusting God that God will bless you because this is Mother's Day weekend, and we want to celebrate all the moms all over the world and let you know that we appreciate you and value you, and you are special, and God has called you to be just who you are. If you're a young mom, old mom, no matter what age you are, celebrate the season and the stage that you're in today and have a wonderful, it's all about you. We want to celebrate you. So watch us next week as well, because God is going to touch your life and you're going to hear the rest of the story. We have so many great things to share with Jodi and Chrissy. So see you next week right here on Studio C at Another Glorious Living. Bye-bye.
Every one of you have a vision. Everything you see was once a vision of someone or a dream.
This media is copyrighted by Jesse Duplantis Ministries for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this media or of any pictures or accounts without Jesse Duplantis Ministries' consent is strictly prohibited.